Um, let's see here. So we'll give it about 3 minutes before we get started. Just go ahead and grab um, blocks if you have them, if you need them. Probably shouldn't need them for today's practice too much, but might just be helpful to have if preferred. Other than that, just need your mat. And we'll get started. I also posted a Spotify link. If you have Spotify, feel free to open that up. I typically try and stick to the time of whatever that playlist is. Let's see. Just gonna give it another 1 or 2 minutes here, then we'll get started. Had about 18 people watching last time, so I just wanna give a little time in case get that kind of number again so people can trickle in. We don't wait too long. I think I'm going to make today's class a lot more involved and deeper stretches, so I won't focus too much on the vinyasa or fast flowing things. So we'll just kind of take our time with each pose, and I'll try and make it nice and relaxing as possible, while still getting a decent workout. But shouldn't be anything that we're gonna struggle to keep up with at all. Um, as always, if you guys need anything, I'll try and keep an eye on the chat box here. So if you have any questions or poses you want to do, just feel free to comment in that area, and then I will go ahead and try and incorporate it into the class somehow. But we're going to start today just in a seated position on the mat. We'll go ahead and just begin with some equal part. Well, actually, we'll do some alternate nostril breathing. So what we're going to do here is I'll explain it first before we do it. Just close one nostril, maybe your right or left nostril with the thumb, and then just keep your pinky out so you can alternate. What we're going to do is plug one nostril, breathe in through the other. So inhale, and then plug that nostril you just inhaled from and exhale out the other. And then we'll alternate. So breathe in through that same one that you just exhaled through. And then plug that up and exhale through the nostril on the other side. So what this helps does is really just calm the nervous system, and it'll really just bring us to the present in today's class. So we'll do that together. Let's go ahead and place the thumb on one of your nostrils. And we'll take a deep inhale through the nose. So breathe in. Plug that side up and exhale out the other. Breathe in, plug it up, exhale out the other. Just go ahead and keep doing this at your own rhythm. Whatever allows you to clear the mind and focus on the breath. Balance the mind and the nervous system. Maybe set a mantra for today's class. There's a lot going on in the world today, and it's a lot to take in, so maybe we just need to have this mantra of being easy on ourselves. Or maybe we need strength in this time of major vulnerability. Maybe have the mantra that I am strong. Just kind of say it aloud in your head as you rotate this breathing. Then when you're ready, bring the hands to heart center. And we're going to kind of bow the head here. And we're going to do some neck stretches here. So kind of just bow the head and then slowly rotate over to the right. Don't go full circle. Just a little bit to the right. Lean towards the shoulder, but don't bend the body. And then breathing out, roll over to the left. Inhaling at the end, and exhaling, rolling back over to the right. Inhaling at the end, exhaling through the roll. And on this next inhale, I want you to exhale and go ahead and roll all the way around. Give the neck a nice stretch. And keep doing that, just following your breathing. Rotating the head around the body, going clockwise. And then come to a stop, and then rotate, going counterclockwise. Just letting that neck have a nice, slow stretch. Make sure your spine is neutral, standing up tall. Get the most out of the stretch. Oh, that feels good. Just taking the time to do this after staring at a computer screen. Just let loose. Nobody can see you, only you can see me, so it works out perfectly for you. And then let's go ahead and we'll come down onto our backs on our mat. I don't have mine today, I apologize, but just follow with me. So we're going to start heading our backs down on the mat, bring the knees up to the air, and actually on your breath in, we'll bring the knees to chest, just kind of bring them forward, stretching out that lower back a little bit. You can kind of roll around on it, maybe going side to side, just kind of stretching it out. Really complements that neck stretch. Just relax the head against the mat. Do whatever feels right. Then let's windshield wiper the legs or the knees here. So let the hands come out, stretch wide, reach as far as you can, just forming a big T. Take a deep breath in, and exhale, lower the knees down to the right. And you can let them touch the ground this time. We'll just kind of Feel the stretch. Oh, feels nice. And once you feel you've gotten enough, take another deep breath in. And on the exhale, we'll lower our knees down to the left. Oh, get a nice side body stretch here through the right arm, through the right obliques. And then inhale, we'll bring the knees back to chest. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to kind of windshield wiper over to the right on our exhale. And then inhale, come back to center. And exhale to the left, but don't let the knees touch the ground this time. Kind of hover them. So you're going to use your abdominals here to kind of hold yourself in place when you're leaning side to side. So just go ahead and do 3 or 4 of those in your own time. Enjoy the quiet. Maybe on the last one, extend your legs out. Getting a nice long leg stretch. Bringing them up through the center and over to the other side. And then when you're ready, just bring the knees back to the chest. And then we'll go ahead and set the left leg down on the ground. Oops. I have enough room here. And then keeping that right knee to the chest, we're going to lift that foot up on the exhale, breathing out and pushing out that foot towards the ceiling. Getting a nice long leg stretch here. Feel free to hold the back of your knee to support your leg. Really helps me. Take a deep breath in once your heel is reaching for the sky. Exhale, keep it there. We're going to stay here for a second, just enjoying a deep stretch. Really pushing out through that foot here to get the stretch there. Take one more deep breath in. And exhale, lower the leg down to the ground. And we'll switch sides, taking a breath in as we pull the knee to chest. Exhaling, kicking that heel into the sky, stretching the toes, pointing up, pushing out. With our thighs and our calves. And on your next exhale, lower that leg back to the ground. Now feel free to just kind of lay here and soak in the moment. But if you'd like to keep stretching, you can also move into a bridge pose. It's where you bring your knees up, kind of like we were right before knees to chest. And on your inhale, raise the hips, shift the pelvis up towards the ceiling. Getting a nice abdominal and lower back stretch. Just a small one though, don't tire yourself out or push yourself too hard. Just relax. Just feel the stretches that you need. And then lower down onto your back if you're not already. We'll roll over to one side and push ourselves up to all fours. And we'll go into our cat-cows. Go ahead and do 4 of those if you already know how. Otherwise, inhale. Let the stomach hang. Raise the gaze forward, looking to the wall. Shoulders stacked over wrist. And then exhale, let the head come down and hang. Pull the belly in and curve the spine. This is cat. And then on your next inhale, come to cow. And keep that up. Just do 2 more of those in your own breath. Really flow with the breath here. Yoga is all about moving with the breath. You certainly feel a lot more from the stretches when it's in tune with your breathing pattern. Just slowly stretching that spine as you come into a cat. And letting it all go. Breathing in into the cow. And then when you're ready, come into a neutral position. Put the hands out just a little bit further. We're going to come back into a downward facing dog. So hands planted down on the ground, fingers spread wide. Bring those knees up, lift up with your toes and the hips, and push back out through your heels. Oh, that feels good. First down dog of the day. Oh, go ahead and walk your dog here a little bit. Just shake it out. Just feels good. Like I said, we'll just focus on some deeper stretches today. I won't do too much power or core exercises, but if there is something you want me to incorporate, just type it in the chat box and I'll see if I can do that. But we will go through our vinyasa flow. So go ahead on your next exhale, walk the feet forward between the hands. We'll come into our forward fold. And inhale, hands on the shins, halfway lift. Straight spine. Exhale, let it all out. Forward fold. On your inhale, we're going to sweep the arms above the head, coming up the body slowly. Run the hands along the course of the body. Inhaling, taking a deep breath in. The stomach fill. And exhale. Swan dive back down to the ground. Plant the hands, walk the feet back. We'll come into our downward facing dog on the exhale. And then inhale, we're going to shift forward into a plank. Shoulders stack over wrist. Hips are still raised. And then slowly lower down onto your belly on the exhale. And we'll come up through our chaturanga. Inhale, slightly pushing up with the hands and the abdominals into a cobra. And then exhale, lift up with the hips and the toes, shifting back into our downward facing dog. Okay, we're going to do just a rotation of 2 of those. So go ahead and take a deep breath in here. Exhale, walk the feet forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hang here. And inhale, sweep the arms up. Reach for the ceiling as high as you can. And exhale, let it all come down. Plant the hands, walk the feet back on the exhale, downward dog. Inhale into your plank. Exhale down through our chaturanga. Inhale, coming up for your cobra. And that nice little lower back stretch, maybe hiss. Exhale into our downward dog. And we'll do one more. Take a deep breath here. Exhale, walk the feet forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Big exhale through the mouth here. Let it all out. Inhale, bring the hands up the body, reaching out and overhead. Reaching for the sky. Oh, it's such a beautiful day out. Exhaling, bringing the hands to heart center. We're going to come into a chair pose here, so I want you to sweep the arms back and overhead again on the inhale. And then exhale, sink into our chair pose. So for those who don't know, just bring the hips back in space You want to be pushing back with the hips and then lowering down with your arms raised just above so they're parallel with your ears. Difficult stretch, but you'll really feel it in your hamstrings here. This is a big hamstring stretch. Just hold it a little bit longer. Keep breathing. Should be balancing mostly on your heels here if you want to feel like you're doing it right. And then exhale, sweep the arms around and back up. Or I'm sorry, inhale. And then exhale, swan dive back down to the earth. Plant the hands. We'll come into our downward facing dog. And feel free to move through another chaturanga here or take child's pose. You're always welcome to take child's pose in this class. Child's pose, you just sink back. Let the knees go to the sides of the mat. And then we'll all meet back in downward facing dog when you're ready. And then I want you to inhale, lift the right foot to the sky, three-legged down dog. And on the exhale, plant it between the hands. We'll come up for a lunge. And then I want you to shift that back left foot and we'll come into a warrior two. So your hands are going to be stretched out wide, pointing to each end of the wall. Your gaze should be fixed just over the right hand middle finger. Your left foot is parallel with the back of your mat, facing forward, a nice strong stance. Then inhale, reverse the warrior, reaching up, getting that side body stretch. And exhale. Getting that extended side body stretch. Inhale, reverse the warrior one more time. Exhale, come back to your warrior two. Take a deep breath in here. And then exhale, we'll lower back down into our lunge. So keep your right foot between your hands. And then what you're going to do is walk it out just past the right hand. So both of your hands should be in front of you and your foot should be outside the hands. And this is called lizard pose. So feel free to lower down as much as you like here. You can either keep the knee up and lower down to your forearms, or you can bring it down. That's fine too. Whatever works best for you. Just really feel what's right for your body, what stretch you need, what's most relaxing. Just getting a nice deep stretch here. Take a deep breath in, and on your exhale, go ahead and plant the palms back on the ground, pushing yourself back up, out, and coming back into our lizard pose. And then what we're going to do is walk that foot back in between, and I want you to bring that left knee back down so it's resting on the ground. And then we're going to kind of do a half splits here. So hinge at the hips coming up, and then you can kind of kick that right foot out forward if you need to. I got long legs, so I need to. I'll kind of come into half splits here, and then just knee hinge forward at the hips. If you want to deepen the stretch, maybe have the hands reach for the toe. Whatever works for you. definitely feel it in the hamstrings and the calf here. It's a good leg stretch. And safely shift forward or bring that foot back, wherever you're at. And lift that knee back up. Plant the hands down on the ground again, and we'll come back into our downward facing dog. And we'll do the other side this time. So take a deep breath in, lifting that left foot into the sky, three-legged down dog. And exhale, plant it between the hands. We'll come into our lunge and rise up for a warrior two. Shift that back foot, gazes over the hands. Inhale, reverse the warrior. And then on the exhale, we'll come into extended side lunge. I feel like I'm forgetting the name of this position. I might have to go back and look. And then inhale, reverse our warrior. And then we'll exhale, plant the palms back down on the mat. And we'll come into our lizard pose, shifting that left foot just outside the left hand. Like before, however you did it, knee down or knee up, whatever your practice allows you to do. It's just a nice hip stretch here. Take a deep breath in, and on the exhale, come back to your hands, push yourself up, shift that foot over back into our lunge, and then we'll lower that right knee down, and we'll hinge at the hips, and we'll come into our half split, letting that leg stretch, reach out, left leg, and then on the exhale, going for that deep stretch. And it's okay if you bend this left knee a little bit. I know I do. Everybody's bodies are built differently, so it can be pretty difficult. As long as you're getting that stretch in the calf and the hamstrings, you're definitely getting the practice, no matter what it looks like. And then on your next inhale, come on up, hinging at the hips, bring the legs back. And then we'll exhale and meet in our downward facing dog, planting the hands back on the mat, shifting that left leg back, and then hips go up in space. And we're back in our downward dog. Feel free to take child's pose here or move through a chaturanga before we go to our next little segment. Whatever your practice allows. Just moving nice and slow today. What feels good? Let's go ahead and exhale, walk the feet forward, coming into a forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, deep breath in. Exhale through the mouth, let it all out. Let the head hang here for a second. Maybe stretch the neck side to side. Get a good amount of neck stretches today. I feel like I need it. Hopefully you guys need it. I feel like I forget to stretch it a lot. And then inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And then we're going to exhale down into our chair pose. Hands stretched out, parallel with the ears. And you can spread your feet apart here or bring them close together. Whatever intensity works for you. Just keep those hips shifted back and pushing. It's like kind of like pushing up and out, but then like sinking down at the same time. That's how it kind of helps me remember, so that it feels right. So you want to get that stretch in this area. Definitely the hamstrings. And then go ahead, take a breath in and bring the hands to heart center on the exhale. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a twisted or a revolved chair pose here. So we're going to go to the right side first. So on your inhale, well, take a deep breath in, and then on your exhale, go ahead and shift over to the left side so that right elbow, man, I'm all mixed up today. So on your left knee, it can rest there if you want it to, it doesn't have to, but just make sure that your right knee here isn't poking out further than your left. They should still be parallel. So you might have to pull back on that right hip a little bit just to make sure they stay parallel. Take a deep breath in on this twist, and then exhale, come back to center. Take a breath in here. I know it's hard. One more. Exhale over to the left, right, man, mixed up. Breath in, and then exhale, come to the center, and we'll reach up for our inhale. And then exhale, swan dive back to the ground, plant the hands on the mat, walk the feet back, we'll come into our downward facing dog. And we'll just hold here for a second. This is kind of a nice resting pose. You're still getting a good stretch in, but feel free to take child's pose if you need to. And when you're ready, I want you to meet us back in downward facing dog. And then we're going to move into a plank pose on the inhale. And then a little side plank on the exhale. So using that left and right foot as a kickstand, balancing on your right hand, make sure the palm is planted flat on the ground. Raising that left hand to the sky, looking up at the thumb. Take a breath in, exhale, lower down. Take another breath in here, and exhale, switch sides. Try and lift up with the hips here. Use the abdominals. And then exhale, lower the hand back down to the ground. And you can go ahead and lower the knees back down to the ground so we're on all fours here. And I'd like to introduce a pose that I don't often teach, but we're going to go into dolphin pose. So I like to teach it starting at all fours. So what I want you to kind of do is it's kind of like puppy pose. If you walk your hands out, and I'll try and be on camera here as much as I can. Walk your hands out in front of you so you're kind of like in your downward dog, but as if your knees were on the ground. So start there, and then bring those forearms down into a kind of V shape. And then what you're going to do, once you bring those hands together, is lift off the ground, bring your knees off the ground, hips go into the air like you're in a downward dog. And if you're already feeling the stretch there, then good. If you're not really feeling anything, walk your feet
in as close as you can while lifting your hips raised. So you're getting a little bit of a core stretch here. Whatever's most comfortable for you. You can almost kind of rest your head just above your forearms. And then bring the knees down, and we'll meet in all fours when you're done with that. I really like that pose. I might start bringing it into more of my stretches, but it's definitely a harder one, harder than you expect. So, while we're here at all fours, I'll have us do 1 or 2 cat cows before we go into a spinal balance. Let's go ahead and breathe in, coming into our cow. And exhale into the cat, curving that spine. Inhale, coming up for our cow. And exhale. Meow. Oh. And then we're going to go into our spinal balance here. So go ahead and on the inhale, same thing as cow, lift the head, but also raise your left hand and your right foot. You'll find a balance right down the center of the spine and hold with your abdominals. And then exhale, bring it down. Inhale, switch sides. Very limited on room over here. And exhale, bring it down. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, lower back down. One more time, each side, in your own breath. Okay, we're going to slowly rotate into some balance poses coming up here soon, but I'm going to lead you through some other steps. So come up from all fours into downward facing dog. Take a breath in here. Exhale, walk the feet forward. Between the hands. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, let it all out. Inhale, bring the arms up overhead. And exhale the hands down to heart center. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and take a wide angle on your mat here. Bring the feet out wide. Oh man, I'm really forgetting the name of the pose here. We're going to take a stretch over to our left foot here, and we're going to kind of alternate the stretch. So just kind of bend at the left knee and bring the weight of your body over, balancing kind of on that left foot. And you might even turn your right foot up so the toes are pointed at the sky. And then inhale, coming back up to the center, and exhaling over to the other side. Inhale, coming up to the center, exhaling back to the left. Nice long leg stretches here. Probably really feeling it. Exhale back. Take nice deep breaths here. And then when you're ready, come back to center. You can walk the feet in a little bit together. We'll do a little back stretch here, or shoulder stretch. Let's go ahead and bring the arms, your hands together behind the back, near the hips. And then squeeze the shoulders together as if there's a pencil you were holding between them. Lift the head up towards the sky. Breathing in and pulling out with the hands. Getting a nice chest expansion here. And exhale, let it all out. Just kind of taking a mountain pose here. Shake it out. Roll the neck, roll the shoulders, whatever feels right. Just kind of move. And then let's go ahead and take some balance poses here. So let's go ahead and find your balance in your right foot. Plant it down on your mat, find your footing. Use your left foot as a kickstand to kind of just shift your weight over on that leg. And then go ahead and inhale, lift that left leg, left knee so it's right in front of you. And then exhale, slowly shift it out. Ooh, losing balance myself. And then inhale, bring it back. And exhale, plant it back down on the ground. So we're going to do that with the other side. Find your footing on your left foot. Inhale, bring that knee out in front of you. Exhale, rotate it out. Inhale, bring it back in. And exhale, bring it down to the ground. Find your balance back on the left foot again. We're just going to come into a tree pose. So inhale, lifting that foot, resting it on the calf or the thigh. Maybe letting your branches come out if you're ready, or just keep a T wherever you find your balance. And then exhaling, lowering down, kind of walk that out. And then find your balance on your right side, maybe using that kickstand. Bring the foot to your calf or your thigh. Let those branches sway. And then go ahead and exhale. Let that foot come back to the ground. Walk it out. Good. And then we'll do one more chair pose before we go back down to the ground for final deep stretches. So inhale, lift the hands above the head. And exhale, come down into our chair. We're going to hold it one last time here. Just a little bit longer. Exhale it all out. Breathe in, sweep the arms up. And exhale, bring them to heart center. Breathe in, sweep the arms in, up one more time. And exhale, swan dive to the ground. Plant the hands on the ground, walk the feet back. And then go ahead and lower down to your stomach. And let the earth hold you just for a moment here. And we're going to kind of just do some easy like half locust pose. So with locust pose, you're kind of laying flat on the ground like this and you lift all your limbs up, but we're just going to focus a little bit on the legs today. If you want to take full locust, that's fine today, or that's fine too. Go ahead and take a deep breath in, inhaling. Belly fill with air, and then on the exhale, lift your feet up. Takes a lot of abdominal strength here just to do that. And then exhale and lower down softly whenever you're ready, at your own pace. Just try and control it as much as you can. Great abdominal workout. And then go ahead and rotate your head if you haven't already. Take another deep breath in. And then exhale. Lift those legs up one more time. Taking another breath in while you're doing it. And then slowly lower down on the exhale. Woo. And then let's take a pigeon pose position. So what we're going to do is come up to all fours. And then there's two ways to do this, I'll show you. So you can either come from all fours, just walk your right knee forward, and then twist that foot out over to your left side, and then you can kind of walk that left foot back in place and come down like that. Or you can come from a downward facing dog, just do the three-legged dog. On your exhale, kind of shift forward as you would a plank, and then bring that knee underneath the chest and bring the left foot out the same way and lower down. Whatever way works for you, as long as you're feeling a nice stretch in the hips here. This is definitely one of my favorite hip stretches. It might burn the most, but oh, feels so good once you come out of it. Always leaves me feeling happy for the day. Take a deep breath in here. And on your exhale, slowly lift yourself out of it. Push off the ground with your hands. And then lift up with that back knee and bring that foot back. And then however you got there last time, whether it's from all fours or downward dog, just switch sides. That left knee forward, your right foot out onto the right side of the body. Walking that foot back. The further back your right foot is, the deeper this hip stretch that you're going to get. And then you just lower down onto your forearms. And don't forget to breathe. And then on your next exhale, slowly come out of it. Push off with your hands, lift up with the knee, walk that left foot back, Maybe come into a downward facing dog and just walk the dog. And walk yourself out of it. And then inhale, come up to a plank. And exhale, lower yourself back down to the ground. Go ahead and roll over to your back. And we'll come into, bring the knees to the chest here. Just kind of hold there for a moment. Giving that lower back a stretch again. Taking a deep breath in. Exhaling it out. And go ahead and bring the knees out wide and the feet up towards the ceiling. And if you can, go ahead and reach out and grab the sides of your foot. And just get a nice hip stretch here. And happy baby. And then when you're done with that, bring the knees back to the center. Coming back down, bring the feet back down, knees to chest. We'll do one more stretch before Shavasana. And just follow me closely here. We're going to do a shoulder stand. So really you want to lift mostly with the abs in your feet here. You don't want to put any pressure on your neck. This is a very, very nice remedy for your shoulders if they're hurting. So really lift up with your feet, push out through your heels, and then use your abdominals to push up and out to lift your body. And you can use your hands behind your backs for support. So you can kind of put your elbows at the side of your hips. They might be parallel with your hips. And then use your abdominals to lift up and have your feet. And if your neck is hurting, then you're doing it wrong, and I would start over. Because you really want to be putting the weight down on your shoulders. It's nice. You can even squeeze the shoulders together so you can keep those hands on the small of your back for support. And for those of you whose practice has plow, you're welcome to do that. Plow is just kind of using your abdominals to slowly lower those legs and those feet down overhead without putting any of that weight or pressure on your neck. If you feel like it's too much, don't worry. Just go back and just do as much as you can. Feel free to be ambitious or just kind of stay here in shoulder stand. It's kind of relaxing. The blood flow changes. Coming down to your head. And then exhale slowly, lowering down on your back first. And then your glutes land in your feet. If there's any other poses you'd like to take before we take our final Shavasana, go ahead and do so now. Otherwise, just rest your body against the mat and the earth. Close your eyes. Maybe put the hands on the hips or let them stretch out wide like a T, whatever's comfortable. And just focus back on the breathing. Taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Just continue this at your own pace. Relaxing. Thanking your body for this practice. Slowly start to wiggle your toes, your fingers. Maybe move your hands, your feet, flexing them. Maybe roll a little side to side. Just gently wake the body back up and roll over to one side. And then push yourself up to a seated position. No rush. Take your time getting there. And cross the legs. Let the hands rest over the knees or the thigh. And we'll take a deep inhale together. Go ahead and breathe in. And let it out. Thank you so much for letting me guide you in our practice today. It's been an honor. And as always, the light in me honors the light in each and all of you. Namaste. Thanks again, everybody, for showing up. I hope that was a nice, relaxing class for you, or you still got a workout if you wanted it. I believe I only have 2 or 3 classes left of this, so please, if you want any poses, or like if you want to do a hip workout, leg workout, arms, in the next few classes, let me know. I have some things planned, but I'd love to, make it our class as much as possible. So, yeah, thanks again so much for joining me, and I hope you guys have a lovely weekend. The weather's really nice. Toodles.